everybody. Come on in the room.
We at it again. Impact. We at it
Welcome
again.
to Dating God's Way on a
We at it
lovely, lovely,
again.
lovely Tuesday night.
Impact. We at it again.
Another
Impact.
Tuesday
We at it
edition
again.
of
Impact.
Dating
We at
God's
it
Way.
again. Impact. We
We
at
at
it
it again.
again.
Impact.
We
We
at
at
it
it again.
again.
Hey, Tara, there we are.
Hey,
Hey, Tara, how you doing?
in the room. People coming in the room.
All right. E, we didn't check your mic. Make sure your mic don't sound.
All right, how am I now?
Oh yes, perfect. Awesome.
Awesome. Hey guys.
Hey everyone, come on. Hey, Nichelle, the daughter. Kanishiwa. Good to see you all. The daughters are checking in. Good to see you all and all of our viewers here on this evening. Oh man, we got a good one tonight. We're going to talk about somebody had a question. They sent us a question or a topic to talk about surprise engagements.
Yes. Should engagements be a surprise?
Should engagements be a surprise?
Yes or no?
I think this is going to be interesting to get into. I done pulled up a little bit of statistics. Not sure how we're going to get those statistics in our show tonight, but we're going to do our very best. But
We're gonna do it.
we are not statistics. You are not a statistic. So this is in no way indicative of you. Let me preference with that. You by no way are statistics. However, your engagement style or type or whatever it is can fall into a category or a statistic, but you are not a statistic. So but surprise engagements, so where do we start, E?
Woo. Where do we start? I think we start with just building a little bit of context, Pastor Will. I mean, I think that one of the things that I'm thinking about this subject is something that you shared with me today on this topic that I think is really interesting. When you talked about how a lot of people realized that their partners were more in love with the idea of marriage than they actually were in love with the person.
Yeah.
Like they realized that marriage was like the goal, not actually the person and the marriage or the actual, I guess the wedding was the goal. Let me say it that way. The wedding was the goal. Getting married was the goal, not actually the person, loving the person and wanting to be with the person.
Yeah, getting to the day or having your wedding day for a man or woman is your trophy, is your accomplishment. The wedding is the accomplishment, and that the coming together with your potential, and I have to say potential, lifelong partner.
Potential lifelong partner. And so, we see in our research, Pastor Will, that we did that a lot of people get in it for the day. Like there was a lot of that sometimes gets figured out before the altar and sometimes gets figured out after the altar. Sometimes they don't even figure out that they were in it for the wrong reasons until after the wedding has occurred or right before it's time to say I do.
Wow. That's pretty important. That's pretty important because you're actually marrying a person and not marrying the day.
The wedding has little to do with the actual marriage. I mean, that sounds crazy, but it's true. The actual wedding has little to do with the marriage itself. Like the wedding is making the commitment, but it's really not like It's not the end all be all. If your wedding don't go well, that does not mean your marriage won't go well. I mean, you're marrying a person.
Well, that's true, but let me throw this opinion
Okay,
or
come on,
thought.
throw
Let
the
me throw
opinion
this
in.
thought out there.
Yeah.
The lead up to the wedding and through the wedding could be an indicating factor of how the marriage can handle stress or sudden
It can
changes.
reveal things. It can reveal things. So leading up to the wedding and the wedding itself can reveal things, but the wedding itself is not the thing.
No, not the wedding itself. No, I agree.
No, it is not.
So yeah, so there are a few video clips of engagements. Before we get to surprise engagements, I've seen quite a few of female initiated engagements. Do you
That's
have
another
any
thing I think we could talk about tonight for sure.
do you have any thoughts on female initiated engagements?
Let's see what our audience thinks before you and I give our opinion. Let's see what our audience thinks about it.
Audience, what do you
Audience.
think about female initiated engagements?
Hey,
Hey son,
welcome. It's an absolute no. That's our first one. It's an absolute no.
so Terry, you're not getting down to a knee and engaging to and proposing to your man.
It don't sound like it. It sounds like it's an absolute no. That's what I heard her say. She wrote it there. So I guess that's a no.
Okay, that's a no. And Tara said, no, sir. Kanisha says, oh, nah. She said it like that. She said, oh, nah. And Michelle says, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, Pastor E. She's not doing it at all.
We not doing it. Pastor Will, I think the answer is we not doing it. I think that is the absolute answer that we're not doing it.
Kanisha said exactly how I sounded.
The answer in all cases is we're not doing it. I just think, Pastor Will, that there are a lot of things happening with this, what we're talking about tonight. There are absolutely a lot of things happening with this dynamic, with this engagement dynamic. And culturally, I do think we have gotten into some things that are not, it's just, am I still here?
You going in and out.
Okay, sorry, I froze up.
Yeah.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
I was just saying, culturally, I think we've gotten into some spaces that are just out of control with this engagement stuff, Pastor. I think like it's just become a lot of things. And so getting into, I think, should it be a surprise or not? That's kind of like that. I don't know. I mean, I think it's opening up a conversation for deeper conversations. That's what I think.
It's opening up a conversation for deeper conversations.
Yes, for deeper conversations that need to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think when we talk about proposals, wedding proposals, I think, I just, it's a simple but still complex subject. Because now you do have to, it's just not automatic that this is the role of a husband or a role of, of the potential husband, right?
Yeah.
So now you do have to navigate through cultural norms or the new cultural norms, if I can say that.
Yeah.
where our Western culture has, I don't even want to say evolved, because to evolve means that
Progress.
it had progressed, it
Yeah.
advanced. Yeah.
It made you
And,
make right progression.
and I think it, well, it did progress, but I think it progressed in a direction that many are uncomfortable with and many disagree with. So, but yeah, I totally don't believe that a woman should be proposing to a man. I think it's a man that finds a wife finds a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And and so I think, when you find your wife and you propose to her, I mean, I think you want to marry your good thing and not wait for your good thing, or allow your good thing to yeah, what? And not allow your good thing to be proposing to you, right?
I
Or
don't think
taking the lead, or taking the initiative to um
hey.
hey, to taking the lead or the initiative to be the head of household. That's just that's just that boggles my mind a little bit. But I mean, some people may say, hey, well, what you're speaking is male toxicity.
Go ahead. That all women it should have equal rights. Women should have the right
Right. And
to
that's
propose as well.
right. And they have every right to have that opinion. Um, right. Right, Cavante. Yeah. But now I think one of the dangers of this society is that we found a way to label everything. And once you get a label begins to try to define you,
Yeah.
and then stigmatize uh, your beliefs, your thoughts, and who you are. And then you have to kind of start making excuses about why you feel what you feel, or why you think how you think.
Hmm.
But anyway, getting back to our topic for today about engagement.
Yes.
So okay, so we have a consensus that
they not doing it.
They not doing it. That these females on this stream tonight, they ain't proposing to nobody.
Nobody.
They ain't having it. Nope. So guys, if you want to marry one of these girls on this stream tonight,
they not proposing.
Bring your knee pads or the pillow.
Your knee pads,
bring the pillow. Don't wear your Jordans that you can't get the crease in. Make sure you take your shoes off, because you're gonna have to get on that knee.
Yeah. So somebody said they think it's awkward for a woman, or weird for a woman to propose to a man.
Yeah, it's outside of your norm. It's outside of the norm. It's outside of even outside of Christianity. I mean, even on TV or whatever. I mean, it has been embedded in us that this is the role of a man, to get on his knee and propose to a woman. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I thank God. I mean, if a woman have to get on her knee and propose to the person that claims that he loves her, like, I don't know what kind of dude allow his lady or
you got strong with this one. Go ahead.
I know. I just think, like, what kind of dude would tell his lady, like, or would even give the indication, like, this is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you strong with it. You strong with it.
Yeah, you strong with it. But like I said, our culture, our norms in the past 30 years have changed. They have changed drastically.
Drastically.
I was born in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s were my time. but those that were born in the 80s, you know, the 90s and the 2000s were their times, and it's two totally different dispensations. it
For
seems
sure.
it
I
seems like a
mean,
whole
things
dispensation.
have evolved a lot.
It has.
And so, you know, I think when we talk about getting engaged, what should it be a surprise or not, Pastor? Like we've done some talking around the subject tonight. Should it be a surprise? Like, I mean, we know that we've already stated some of the things that but let's go ahead and get out some statistics before we get into it. So 94% of couples discussed engagements about 6 months before going forward. That was a survey done.
That's a good number.
30% of them talk about marriage weekly in that same survey.
Okay.
So part of the reasons, the topics that they talked about, just to give our viewers some education tonight, part of the things that they talked about was the reasons why you and your partner want to get married. Asking if you or your partner is ready for commitment. Asking if right now is the correct time to bring up marriage. Do you know each other well enough? Thinking about also the last one about religious beliefs, core values, and other things that need to be considered before deciding, Pastor Will. So it sounds like a lot of couples use some amount of wisdom before getting engaged, but you do have that 6% that did not. That didn't use no wisdom.
Or was scared to use the wisdom that they have.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, there was this one story that we looked at today where somebody, a viewer wrote that her and her boyfriend had already been living together for 3 years. And the proposal went something like this: I guess you want to get married, huh? And that was about it. That was about it. You know, he already cheated while he was out of state. It was already like a whole lot of stuff that happened. And the progression of the relationship went to like engagement is the next best step.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's a yes, a shocking proposal. I mean, because you know they're living together, and she have desires to be married, and evidently he was just checking off the box. So I guess this is what you want to do.
I think when we talk about surprise engagements, I think what we're really talking about tonight is unintentional engagements.
No, I think we're talking about surprise engagements.
I think it's just unintentionality, Pastor Will.
But I also think
with a surprise, whether you are shocking proposal or whether you are any other kind of proposal, it's not intentional. That's what makes it a surprise.
it's unintentional.
Yes, you have not had the right conversations.
I agree with that. I agree
not
with
intentional.
I don't know if that's unintentional or not, but
Yes,
I think it's careless.
unintentional.
I think it borders the line of selfishness.
Unintentional.
Um,
You did not think about the intent, like of the relationship or your own intentions.
yes, that's true. Nope, didn't think about it.
Yeah, didn't think about it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a take me back engagement. But surprise engagements. It's that engagement where marriage wasn't even discussed in a conversation. And however, I'm gonna throw this on you. Oh, yeah. So I saw this. I was watching this movie, black movie on the LOL network on Pluto TV. But what is it called? What was that movie called? The movie was called, I forget what it was called.
Why'd I get married?
No, not Why Did I Get Married? No.
Okay.
So it was this homeless guy, and he rescued this young lady from getting mugged. And so she knew him from the street or whatever, but she was so grateful and whatever. And so she cleaned him up and let her stay with her for whatever days. And the name of the movie was Stock Option. So she cleaned him up and he got cleaned up. And what happened was her boyfriend came back and popped a surprise engagement on her. And she said yes, not because they talked about marriage, but she said yes because she felt it was the right thing to do. Now I know
Why?
I know this is a movie, but I do think a pop-up engagement do put people in the corner to give the answer of yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair.
I don't think that's fair either. Yeah. I mean, like, I think that, when you say that in that context of like she felt like she had to say yes, it does, or she felt like it was the right thing to do. In what context? That's why I said it's unintentional. Because in what context is it the right thing to do?
Because the dude
no intention.
Because the dude had a lot of he was an actor, and being married would have hyped up his profile, and plus he didn't want her with the other guy.
Okay, so I'm gonna get you first engagement.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you first proposal.
Yeah. So anyway, but getting back to our real life, what we've seen on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, there's surprise engagements where there was a surprise engagement, and we saw one where the young lady showed no emotion at all.
Yeah. That one was crazy, in my opinion.
You don't think she was ready, or you think that that's just her? She's just not an emotional person.
I don't know, but I will say, like, it's a lot of things. If I think that when we got engaged, we talked about it. We talked about engagement. We talked about marriage. We talked about a lot of things that you knew where I stood the day you asked me.
I sure did.
That's where I think that engagement like luster. Somewhere she had some questions that was unanswered. And I think that when you have questions that are unanswered, you not intentional, you have questions that are not answered, that are important, then I think that's when people kind of like, I think that's when you get those responses. Because you ain't answered the questions.
Yeah, I mean, I needed to talk it out with you for one thing, because I wanted to make sure you said yes before I went out and brought you that expensive $600 ring.
Oh, Father God.
Just don't know how long I had to save up.
You need to stop. You need to stop on this live acting like somebody. You need to stop. You need to stop tonight acting foolish.
I had to know. I had to
Oh,
know
he
you.
was cheap, period.
Yeah, still am. Ain't going nowhere.
He definitely was balling, Kavon saying he was cheap.
Still am.
He
Ain't
still
no shame.
is cheap, for sure.
Ain't no shame.
He say frugal, he cheap.
Ain't no shame. It's okay.
Period.
Thank the Lord. But what we saying? We can't have dead air on the line.
I'm getting to our first question.
Okay. So our engagement's hyped up. Does it really need to be a surprise or a secluded day or moment? Can you explain the reasons of an engagement and why it is or isn't that important? What does it serve in the relationship? So, I mean, I'll start off here. I think well, I can't say you only get engaged once because, I'm sure many of you ladies have been proposed to many a times, probably.
Yes.
So, but
yes. The answer is yes.
But I think it should be a time of celebration, especially after we've talked. And it's not a surprise that we are going in this direction. Now, if we haven't talked, and I mean, but okay, let me just stick with the question. So our engagement's hyped up. I think engagement should be celebrated because we are celebrating the dawning of a new day. A new day is arriving where where the woman will become a wife and the man will become a husband. So I think that should be celebrated. I have no issue with that being celebrated. Does it really need to be a surprise? It doesn't need to be a surprise. But I think it's a memorable moment. And I think it's a moment for many that should be okay to be captured as you are documenting the stages of your life. But go ahead, E.
Look, I mean, I think this, engagement, the extravagance or the less extravagance of it, I don't know if it serves a purpose. I mean, you know what your partner likes, and you should, I think that that's some of, being in a relationship is being able to give that person some of what they desire. But it does it serve a purpose? I don't know. I mean, my engagement wasn't extravagant. But like that wasn't I didn't see that as like this is like the thing of the relationship. This ain't right, ain't nothing right. I'm not that type of person. I wasn't that type of person. I was young too. I didn't have a whole lot of opinion on it. But I do think that to your next question, does it need to be an event? I think it depends on the people who are involved. And that's a part of, in my opinion, what you talk about. You get to know that person and make sure that you're doing it in a way that honors who that person is. So I think, to me, that's the answer.
I think the reason I proposed to you the way I did, because I knew you weren't tripping off of an extravagant for the people type engagement. At least that's not what I thought.
I was not. That's correct.
So when I did show up at your house with a bucket of chicken and a ring, and it was just you and Tanita had to go back and get the camera so she can capture the moment again. that was our way of, of proposing and our engagement. And it was a very special day, outside of the, you know, it was just us. It was who was there was supposed to be there. So
Yeah, I mean, you talked to my mom already, my grandmother, my this, my that. So at the end of the day, those were the things that I valued. And so my spiritual dad, those were the things that I value, but that may be different for another woman. And I think that that's
absolutely.
important to get a read on that.
Absolutely. And that's when you should have, and I think those are things that you should talk about is, you know, or you should have a gauge on what kind of parties do you like, or what things you trip off on, or what things that you're unbothered by because you can see beyond that one event.
Yeah. You got to be able to see beyond the proposal for sure. Next
Yeah.
question. Are there any right or wrong ways to propose to a woman? And if so, can you explain?
I mean, doing it in a way that doesn't honor her wishes is the wrong way.
I think having no conversations is the wrong way.
And that too.
Time, desire, all of that doesn't equal engagement. There has to be some amount of intention and discussion that goes into it.
If you're doing it because you want a viral video, you're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah. And if the person desires it for that reason, they want it for the wrong reason too. So I think some of it definitely has to be a heart check, a motive check.
And I was about to say, the Bible tells us that our treasure, our treasure is where our heart is.
Yeah.
Right. So if your heart is in a day, after you get the date, that's your treasure. You got your reward.
You got your reward.
Holla. Good luck with that.
Holla.
Blessings. So yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing I would say the right way though is I think the right way is, I mean, considering the person, but also really thinking about really making about you and the person.
Yeah.
I think engagements should be about anybody but you and the person. Even if you have a big extravagant event, it really needs to be focused on you and the person. Because a lot of the photo ops and everything that's going on now, Pastor Will, it can get a little crazy.
That's true.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the photo ops, I mean, any day can lead up to the photo op. And then that's all you had. I was just that video I shared with you today about the pastor. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
To hear him on video on his Facebook Live that him and his wife of 7 years, he decided to leave and divorce her, and close the church down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. And I'm like, man, 7 years, 7 years is not a long time.
Yeah.
But to get to that, yeah, don't worry about it, sir. Don't go looking it up. But 7 years, 7 years is not a long time.
Yeah, it's not.
So, you really have to be careful of what you treasure in marriage. And make sure that, that your heart is in the right place. Not blaming anybody, but just make sure your heart is in the right place.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the saddest thing about the story for me was that their church only been in existence for about 7 or 8 months, not long at all. And just who gave them the insight or the advice to pastor only 7 years into a marriage? Who would give? I don't think I would have given that advice, not understanding or knowing what I know, but you know, I could be wrong.
Yeah, it depends on the age of people. I mean, I think there's a lot of factors, Pastor. There's a lot of factors in that.
Yeah.
That's a loadedness. But
Yeah.
somebody said they're not gonna post their photos until 10 years into their marriage, their engagement. Go ahead. He left it, he shut down the church that. But you know, I think I think that I do think, Pastor Will, that another part of this whole engagement conversation though is just making sure that your relationship is prepared for engagement proposal. Like you're really in a place to be open to the idea of spending your life with somebody, because that's what you're asking for with the proposal.
Yeah.
You're not asking for somebody to spend a day with you. You actually asking somebody to spend a lifetime with you.
Yeah, and you know, after the proposal, we got it, male or female, you're going to get challenged about your proposal.
Yeah, for sure.
Your decision will be marriage. Your decision will be challenged during the engagement period.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised how many people care faithfully.
I mean, seriously, a lot of these things I think that we just don't talk about enough. And so a lot of people do get caught up in the okie doke, I think, in some of these situations. I know several people who were engaged in a month before the wedding, weeks before the wedding, sometimes even days before the wedding. It's called off, Pastor. So you have to wonder what happened with this, what happened at the proposal that they didn't get to the aisles.
You know, it's funny you say that because this statistic says that according to a survey, they polled about 1,000 people between ages of 20 and 60, and about 20% of all engagements are called off before the wedding.
20% are called off. How many days? Or it just says before the wedding?
Before the wedding.
Yeah.
We were almost in that statistic. We almost called it off too.
I don't know that we really did. I don't know.
That Thanksgiving dinner was intense.
Yes, we had a very intense holiday. First of all, we were getting married 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. That was crazy anyway. So I don't know what we thought about that, because that was crazy. So that was not a stress. Like, I mean, it was, I don't even think it was a full 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. That was crazy.
It was crazy.
So yes, we had a big Thanksgiving. We had a big Thanksgiving fight. I don't think that we was in, I don't think we was going to break it off, but.
I was scared. I was scared enough.
It shook us up, didn't it?
You see, I still remember it.
Yeah, we got it together.
Yes,
we
we got
still
it together.
Okay, is there a recommended time limit to getting engaged?
Hey, Kim.
Hey, Kim.
They never heard this full story. I don't remember the details, Tara.
No, it's been too long. We don't remember all the details. I remember the road that we was on. That's about it.
Can't even tell you what the fight was about.
That's all I remember. of that story.
It's been 22 years, 23
Yeah,
years.
20
Jeez,
years. A
my
lot of
God.
years. Yeah. Is there a recommended time left to getting engaged? To being engaged or getting engaged? Come on, say. Being engaged or getting engaged?
Well, he says getting engaged, so the time up to engagement. But that's what we're talking about. That's what you mentioned tonight about having these conversations. And I think the question is like, when should you have these conversations about marriage before engagement?
Yeah.
And so, according to what I read, and I agree with this, is that when you're comfortable to have those conversations about marriage, when the conversations are not forced, when these conversations are organic,
Yeah.
but yet have intentionality behind them too,
Yes.
right? So when your relationship grows to that point, and you start talking about the values and what life would be like with each other and everything like that, then you could start talking about, okay, you're the one that I want to marry.
I think too, Pastor, when you're ready to share your life with someone,
Yeah,
you're ready
for
to
sure.
share your life, your money, your resources,
Yeah,
your time. When you're ready to share your life with someone, I think that determines engagement, because how ready are you for somebody to put a ring on it? Like, you desire the ring, but do you desire the life with that person? So I think that tells you the time period. As you guys know, me and Pastor Will got engaged in 3 months. And then another 3 months we got married. 6 months. Well, how many months? We got 3 months we got engaged.
it's
July,
always
August,
change.
September,
It always
3 months we got 3 months we got engaged. July. That's true. In July we got engaged. And then in December we got married. That's how it happened.
Okay.
You need to stop. And so
I said, okay, I don't remember. I remember the wedding day.
Oh, y'all, he's so crazy. So yeah, July we got engaged, y'all. So in 3 months we got engaged. That has not changed. And then in 5 months we got married. That's correct. And December we got engaged. And got married. And so we had a quick turnaround. 3 months for engagement. That's when he proposed in July, and then 5 months later we got married. So we definitely ain't nobody to go by. Don't go by us. We definitely don't do what we did, because that was crazy.
Don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home. It was crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So don't do that. But I do think when both people are ready in a space to share their life with one another, and they mature enough to have the hard conversations, I think that's what can expedite time. Let me say it that way. I think that's what can make time go quicker.
Yeah.
And then he says, how long should you be engaged?
How long should you be engaged? I mean, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with long engagements, like engagements that go to 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I think within the year.
Engagement could go 6 or 7 years.
Situationship, yo.
Yo, I'm shocked. Yeah.
Yo, situationships.
I think a year or two it cannot be more than 2 years for sure. I mean, for a believer particularly, I don't see how they can go more than a year being engaged.
Yeah, I think once you get engaged, I think
purity. Somebody keeping their purity. I don't know how they can stay engaged longer than a year.
Yeah, I think once you get engaged, I think you should start planning the wedding.
For sure.
Immediately.
I just don't know what you're going to do. I don't know.
And I think the availability of the wedding hall should probably determine the length, or if you are trying to get yourself settled, as far as maybe you don't have a house or apartment right now or whatever.
You better be ready to get settled, Pastor Will. If you propose to somebody, you better be ready to get settled.
That's what I'm saying.
The ring, you should be getting things in order with the proposal.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
who does that?
I think you should be prepared. I think when you do ask somebody for their hand in marriage, I think you should be prepared to marry them tomorrow. Your life should be ready to be married tomorrow.
Ready. Yes. You proposing because you ready. You're not supposed to proposing because you getting ready.
Right.
You're not proposing because you getting ready. You proposing because you ready, ain't you? I don't know, Pastor.
Come on, Cavante. So what is the man supposed to do if he and the woman been together for some time? He knows the woman he wants to spend his life with. He buys the ring, proposes to the woman, and she turns him down.
Oh man!
Wow. See, and this is why we need to have conversations.
That's why we having this conversation tonight, because we don't want anybody getting turned down.
Well, but we also should know why we together.
We gotta have an answer before we get there.
Yeah.
Pastor Will knew I was gonna say yeah, straight up. He already knew that before he came in the room with the chicken and everything. Before he came in with the box of chicken, he already knew that. So I do think that I think you're using some critical statements, Cavante. He knows that he wants to spend the rest of his life with the women. Does she know that she wants to spend the rest of her life with him? Like, you got to know those answers before you get there. You got to know.
See, but they might have been together for so long. She was like, I ain't marrying to this. So I'll
have conversations with her then, because he should know that.
I'll date this. I may commit to it dating wise, but as far as marrying this, I ain't doing it.
Gotta be clear communication before you buy that ring, for sure. There has to be a scenario in which you talked about. A scenario in which you talked about getting married and getting engaged. A scenario when you talked about all the things. Kim crazy.
And Kim, and that's a good point. I mean,
just talking about
people have situations.
People have situations,
and
that's why they ain't ready. Because
that's why they ain't ready. You have to determine, maybe she made a determination. I ain't marrying to this situation. I'll date this situation, but I'm not marrying this situation. But if his desire is to be married, then he needs to find somebody that don't mind marrying to his situation.
That's correct. Both her and him need to make sure somebody is comfortable marrying into your situation. Everybody has situations. Everybody got some type of situation.
For sure.
So you got to be comfortable with somebody is willing to marry into your situation.
Whether it's kids or debt or whatever, everyone has a situation.
Your family,
yeah.
Look, all that. You got to be willing to do it. For sure. Any other questions tonight? Because I mean, this seemed like we talk about this engagement. It's a sensitivity, for sure. It's a sensitivity to it, but I think it's a really important conversation, Pastor Will.
I think people want to get it right.
I hope people do want to get it right, but I think more than that, we're seeing a lot of divorce situations. I think that has went up. A lot of divorce situations that are happening.
Yeah.
And partially they're happening because they're not having these conversations.
Yeah.
the conversation is not happening properly. So you getting into these situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's like the final lap of decision between messing one another's life up or really being committed to God's way through it all.
yeah,
And that's what it is, really being committed to God's way through it all.
for sure. I think also being committed to God's way through it all, and also be committed to being mature through it all. It
Yes.
takes maturity to have the hard conversations and know you might lose the person or not. I mean, we don't know yet. And I think to me, that was the thing. You know, that was the thing, is making some decisions of like, are we going to have to figure this out before we say yes. Or we ain't saying yes, or I'm not saying yes. So I think that's you got to stand your ground with stuff like that, Pastor.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got another question, Pastor.
I see. I see. What if you do want to get married to the person? Okay, nice. But
Nice.
it's not like the best time. How do you go back to dating? Is it a restart? I think I,
Feel it?
defining, you have to define then what will be the best time. What do you know, when is the best time?
When is the best time?
Right?
Because
What
if you
has
out
what,
here dating, how you out here dating and you ain't ready and you not ready to move towards anything serious or significant? Like,
yeah,
why it's not the best time?
why is not the best time?
I think that's a question of like, why it ain't the best time?
Waiting for the perfect stars to align. That I mean, then you'll continue to wait for the right time or for the best time when right now could be the best time. But sometimes you're so stuck on your own issues, your own situation, you can't see beyond your hand.
Yeah.
So, I
And
think, yeah,
yeah. I think I do think let's talk about this right quick, Pastor, before we go. One of the things that you and I discussed is the right time is relative, or the best time is relative. Because I do think there's an element of when you find the right person, the time get right real quick.
I make the when you find the right when I found you, I made the time work for me.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Because you wasn't about nothing. I mean, look, you wasn't about none of this life over here. But I was like, I mean, basically, I ain't waiting on you. Like, if you don't want to do this, look,
That's what you said.
that's what I said. So, like, I know where I'm going, and you going somewhere else, then that's just we ain't going together. Look, that's it.
So let me just go ahead and swallow and go ahead and
Get
do
ready.
go ahead and do it
Let me go and get ready. That's
with
it.
with bubble guts and all.
That's it. Take them bubble guts and make this decision, or that's it. I'm keep on walking. I ain't talking to you anymore. You can just go, walk on, walk on. That's it, Pastor. Best time finds its way to you when it's a person that you don't want to lose. I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
I think you find time. How do you know when you found the right person? What should you look for?
You don't know.
Guess when you know. When you know. I mean, like, that is just like the answer. You know when you know. I know that sounds really ambiguous, but it's true, y'all. You know when you know. There is an element of knowing when you know.
The question I have is, are you looking for the person?
Yeah. Are you actively, do you know what you want or desire before you get to a person? Like, I think that's a part of it.
That is a big part of it.
Do you know what you're looking for already before you get to that person? Because if you're waiting for that person to help define who you're looking for, that might be a problem.
That's a big problem.
So I think you have to have some definition before you get to the person. You have to have some definition first.
Yeah.
And then that person, you know, will highlight or show you some things that you was desiring, but you gotta start with some answers. You can't start with a person trying to get a revelation.
And the answer is no, 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 no.
Woo! You trying to get a revelation of, is this the right person, when you don't even know what, you don't even know what you desire or what you like and what you don't like. You got to know some of that first. You got to have some answers before you start asking questions.
Gotta have some answers before you start asking questions.
Is this person who I want? Okay, that's a good question. But what is the answer that you've already answered about who you desire? You got to start with that. Yeah, Pastor?
Yeah. That's it.
Got to start with that. Got to start with that. So, yeah, surprise engagements to me is whack. If you ain't had no intentional conversations, it's whack. You got to have those intentional conversations, y'all. You got to talk about it. Even if the day is a surprise, the event should not be a surprise.
That's good. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
The day can be a surprise, but the event cannot be a surprise. Like, oh, I didn't even know we was here yet. Oh, I ain't know. I didn't even know that's what we was about to do.
So don't be calling Loretta in the pulpit saying that you're going to go ahead and do it. All right, I'm going to start.
Do not call Loretta in the pulpit talking about you just going to go on and do it now because you made her wait long enough. Go on somewhere with that whackity whack proposal. You're supposed to be anointed. Your proposal could be better than that, child.
Oh, my.
You could have had some oil. If you in church, let me get this disclaimer, Pastor. If you in church, your proposal need to have some oil on it. It need to be some.
My.
That church should be anointed, Pastor. If you doing it in church.
My.
I say yes. You, Pastor. Tess said, we hit the 9 o'clock hour. Kel said, bye, y'all.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Don't be doing no whack church proposal. Praise break at the altar. Woo! Somebody say stop. Pastor Will, go ahead and end us out.
Yeah, I was looking for the funeral proposal where the guy did the surprise proposal to the lady
widow.
at the widow at the funeral.
Go ahead with that. We don't even doing that today. Go ahead with that. We don't want it. We don't want it.
So no surprise proposals at a funeral either.
No, and no. That's right. Stop. Just stop.
Well, the family has spoken.
The family has spoken. Come on, they said the blood of Jesus. Woo!
No surprise engagements. What's that?
No. Do not propose at anybody's wedding. No. No, no, and no.
I
No.
think
No.
you should. I think you should get that cleared by the by the bride and the groom,
No.
because it is their day that they paid
No.
for.
No.
So don't be trying to be cheap and use somebody else's backdrops without their permission.
Yeah, no. I still think it's just selfish anyway. I don't know. I don't like that. Unless it's like your best friend and y'all talked about it and that's what y'all dreamed since y'all was little. I mean, unless it's all that, don't do it. That's why I say kind of selfish pastor. I don't know.
But if it's cost effective and you can use the same officiant while you're there, just go ahead and get married while you're there also. You know, engage and get married at the same time.
If you are right here, let's do it.
You already here. It's like a Tyler Perry movie. You know,
That's exactly. It is a Tyler Perry movie. No.
No, actually, Dwayne Wayne did it first.
Oh, Dwayne Wayne, right? No.
He stole the wedding. He stole the pastor. He stole the bride and everything.
He stole the whole thing.
He stole the whole thing.
No.
I wonder if he stole the honeymoon too. I don't know.
No.
Oh, Kim, I'm sorry, Kim.
No. And the birthday too. You need to talk to somebody about their birthday. Because that was a no for me. I knew I did not want to be engaged on my birthday is about me. I ain't want it about us. That's just a fact.
I had one friend, co-worker, that says, you should propose to your wife on her birthday. So if you get divorced, she will always remember. It will always be a day of misery for her. I mean, I was like, wow, that's tough. That's tough. So I agree. No birthdays. No already designated day.
So that person is okay. Yes. Ending this. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming. Yes, to me, birthdays is off limits. But somebody might like that. It's all a preference. Somebody might like that. That's why you gotta talk.
Good night, fam. Thank you, Kim. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us on another day.